What is going on, everybody? I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and we're back at it today, Friday, April 4th, on a big stream here. A lot of things are happening in the crypto markets. A lot of things are happening overall on all kinds of platforms. TikTok could be going away tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day for TikTok. If not, TikTok is see you later, alligator. So make sure you guys are smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, and let's get right into it. Right? Actually, before we get into the Bitcoin chart, let's look at the one hour here on the bubbles. Everything is nice and up in the green, 3%, 4%. Let's go. Get some excitement going here on the day as well. We got a few runners. Algo up 10.2% today. Let's go. Overall, altcoins are up 5 to 10% on some of these. Bitcoin over here is having a little bit of a struggle once again here on the daily. Let's jump back into the 15-minute here. Give a little run through. Last night in the Crypto Citadel, as you guys are watching here. Oops, where am I? Yeah, right here on the Crypto Citadel, right? 8:25 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, I mentioned that, hey, I'm looking for a short, right? I was looking for Bitcoin to come up to the previous day high, which was also the Monday high, have a rejection and pull back down to the daily naked point of control. And it did just that. So anybody that took advantage of that trade setup right here, as you can see, we came up, we went a little bit higher than expected, hit that daily MPOC all the way up at 84,000. And since then pulled all the way back down to that daily MPOC down at 81,914. Hitting that target down here has definitely pushed Bitcoin back up, but Bitcoin has been struggling and just chopping sideways to break out of the previous day range, along with staying above the VWAP here. So a lot of struggle for Bitcoin. Since then, this was pretty much the trade of the day. And if you were able to get a nice little long here, then a long to the VWAP up here was the second best trade of the day. Since those two trades happened and I was not able to take advantage of them, then I have not taken a trade today, because it's better to conserve capital, to reduce risk on your capital instead of getting slaughtered and just jumping into a trade to force it and losing money. So those were the two trades of the day. This short right here from the daily MPOC of 84,000 down to the daily MPOC of 81,900, and then a long here was the second best trade from this low to the VWAP to the upside of around 83,000. Those were the two trades for today on Bitcoin. Best trades out there. So if right now we're entering the weekend, I'm just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next best opportunity to take another big trade here. But if you were in the Crypto Citadel last night and you saw my post, you could have taken advantage of that trade, and you could have made obviously taking some advantage of that. So if you guys are not in there, definitely join. If you guys are looking at this right now, we post signals here for the people that are day traders, right? We post signals of all our trades that we take on here. If you guys are not long-term traders, or I should say short-term traders, day traders, and are long-term investors, we post long-term analysis and macro analysis here for all altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum included. So you guys can look for targets to the upside, targets to the downside for potential dollar cost averaging. So it doesn't just suit the day-to-day traders. Now, let's break down some of these different altcoins and what's going on, right? Because overall, we've seen a lot of news, right? We've seen a lot of news coming out with, some big stuff happening in the stock market as of right now, right? The stock market has been dropping down massively. The S&P 500 below 5,200 for the first time since August 7th of 2024, right? We've seen a lot of what else you call it here? We've seen a lot of stuff happening with the tariffs, right? With the tariffs between the different countries, the trade war continuing, that has definitely put a damper on things. The overall NASDAQ 100 futures officially enter bear market territory for the first time since 2022. The Magnificent Seven stocks are down 35% from their highs. 35% from their highs, and people are freaking out, right? People are freaking out about this, and they're already talking about a recession, right? Where is the next one that I saw? If you guys haven't checked out my videos about whales activity, whales have been dumping a ton of Solana, right? They've just been dumping Solana left and right, but whales have been scooping up a ton of Ethereum. Very unlikely scenario. People didn't think that, right? A whale dumped 315,000 Solana, which is 37 million. And there was another group of whales that dumped over 50 million as well. Now we are seeing some inflows from yesterday, from April 3rd into Bitcoin, right? 159 million. We're still seeing outflows for Ethereum. Ethereum is still negative 19 million on the ETF outflows. But what's this whale right here? A whale just bought the dip, dropping 11.5 million USDC on 6,400 Ethereum at 1772. And there was a few other accumulations here. Here we go. This is a different whale. That was the same whale actually. There was another post about whales accumulating over 130,000 ETH, 130,000 Ethereum, not $130,000, but 130 ETH, which is massive. I wish I could find it here. I don't know where that post went. It must have disappeared. But overall, whales are accumulating Ethereum. And why are whales accumulating Ethereum? Well, Ethereum has been a very underperforming asset overall, sitting at 1792. If we go down to the Ethereum chart here and we start looking at Ethereum on the macro levels, right? Come on. Ethereum is currently within its massive Q1 range, sitting right at the value area lows, holding pretty strong here. Yesterday, as you guys can see, we did. Oh, let me turn this thing off. It's very distracting. We dipped below the value area high, coming down as low as 1750, and then we jumped right back up. And today we dipped below it again, jumping back up again. We do have 3 targets to the downside here for Ethereum. If Ethereum does lose the value area low for Q1, which is 1769, we will be looking for 1732 as its first target. If that area is lost, the next 2 targets are one at 1622 and the next at 1561. That is a total drop of, from where we're at today to the first target is 3.7%, to the second target of 1623 is 9.9, which is basically 10%. And our last target, 1560, is a 13.44%. That's a big drop for Ethereum. Now, is that going to happen? Let's go look at Bitcoin, right? Let's go take a look at Bitcoin here on the daily. Bitcoin here on the daily, we are still within our March range. We are still within our March range here, holding support here. Yesterday, we wicked down into this green zone between 81,000 to 81,300 and 80,685. We wicked into it yesterday. We bounced back up. Today we're closing. Today we're still far away from closing. We're 8 hours away from closing our daily candle, but we're sitting here on a big doji Darth Maul wick to each side kind of candle as of right now, right? We still have a lot of time for that candle to play out. If Bitcoin does lose its March lows and it starts dropping below 80,000 and we start closing down here again around 78, right? We start closing sub 80. There's a very good chance we're going to be hitting $76,000 to $73,000 Bitcoin. Now, if we zoom out here, right, where does that take us? Taking us down to 76 to 73. 73 leads us right to the value area high of the 2024 yearly range. The value area high, meaning if we drop below 73,000, we are entering the 2024 yearly range. And if we enter that yearly range, our main target of that range is the naked point of control. And the naked point of control sits at 67,338. Now, if Bitcoin does that kind of drop, we're definitely going to be flushing Ethereum's prices all the way to the downside, right? Ethereum is definitely going to drop a lot lower. I think we might hit 55K on Bitcoin, next support after 70. So we do have some targets down at around 55, right? So after 67, if 67 does not hold, our next target here would be 62 and some change. We have a small little target there. Our next 2 big targets are a 6-month and a monthly NPOC sitting between $59,300 and $57,868, which is not far from your $55,000 target that you were mentioning. And then obviously the value area low for the yearly range, the value area low for the yearly range of 2024 is 48,685. Now, I don't want to get wrapped up on this whole rotation of the range of the yearly range all the way down to 48,000. Those are all big what ifs. If we lose 80,000, if we start losing 80,000 and start tapping 76 to 73, then we can start talking about 67 to 55, right? But until that happens, that is not in the picture. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is holding 80,000. We have a chance to run back up. Now, running back up here is going to be something that we need to be aware of. Let me actually delete this line. I don't know why this line is there. Something we need to be aware of on the way up. We have our first big test, right, is going to be the breakout of the value area high from the breakout of the value area high of the March range, which is sitting right between the quarter average of 89,000 and a weekly MPOC of 90,000. Breaking above that is going to be critical for Bitcoin to show some strength, start moving back up. Once we do that, we start to re-enter here the quarter one range, right? The quarter one range for Bitcoin puts us between 90,000 and the quarter one NPOC is at 96,728. If Bitcoin rolls up there and hits that naked point of control on quarter one, and it starts to roll over and fall back down, Bitcoin's in trouble because we're going to be creating a lower high once again. Bitcoin needs to flip above its macro, this little local gold pocket of 98,000 and start running for 100,000 and higher. If it does not flip over 100,000 and hold, and it starts to roll back down below 98, below 89, we're heading a lot lower for Bitcoin. And that's going to be very, very bad for the short term. Right, for the short term. Let me jump in here into the chat real quick and start answering some questions. XRP to the moon, I highly doubt that it's going to be happening anytime soon. XRP isn't going to go anywhere without Bitcoin first. I think I know what was going on. Bro, I made 300K on Bitcoin on this run. Congratulations, Sleeps. Good job, man. I'm proud of you. She's going down to the 30s. There's absolutely no necessary reason to be calling for a 30K Bitcoin when Bitcoin is still sitting at 80,000, right? Bitcoin hasn't broken any major support, hasn't done anything like that to be calling for a 30,000 Bitcoin, which makes no sense, right? For the simple fact that right now, the tariffs, right? The tariff wars, right? The tariff scares. We had one of the biggest tariff announcements ever just 2 days ago, and it was literally a blanket tariff on almost every single country out there of minimum 10% and up. And guess what? Bitcoin's still holding 80,000, right? Bitcoin is still holding 80,000. So what else could possibly be happening out there that is going to push Bitcoin below 80,000? I don't know. Fundamentally, right, from a traditional standpoint. Guys, we have almost 100 people in here. Make sure you guys are smashing those likes. Take 5 seconds to tap those likes, hit the subscribe. Blockchain Crusader, Crusading these blockchains every single day. So make sure you guys are tapping those likes, and let's get the show rocking and rolling. Let me keep jumping in here into the chat. What's going on, Doodle Cup? What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here. Let me see. Hold on, give me a second. I think we might hit 55K. Next support after 70. Not to worry about that right now. Like I said, we're nowhere near there just yet. What would be amazing to pick up some ETH at 1,500? Oh, definitely. I definitely agree that picking up Ethereum at 1,500 would definitely be a huge opportunity, right? Why is the market green? Isn't Terra supposed to make it all red until Bitcoin reaches 77? Ghost, no, right? The tariff news is short-term pain for long-term gain. That's the way it works, right? The market has a quick reaction to it. It stumbles a little bit. And, you know, obviously that massive liquidation event, that massive fear in the markets real quick does affect Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, meanwhile, the stock market is still dropping. Meanwhile, the stock market is still struggling. Bitcoin tends to hold itself and push up against the market sometimes, right? It's not just going to be a copy paste of what the stock market is doing. As of right now, if we check on the fear and greed index, Where is that thing right now? Let me just open up Coin Market Cap. Coin Market Cap. Tell you right now, the fear and greed index is being ridiculous right now. Where are you? Fear and greed. Look at this thing. This thing is down at 25. This is like bear market fear. Bear market fear right now is happening in the crypto markets. Look at this thing. Sitting at 25. Like if we're in the middle of the bear market. Now, I do understand we have had one of the worst quarterly returns for Bitcoin and Ethereum that we've seen in a long time. If we go look at Node Glass, let's see here. Glass Node, not Node Glass. I don't know what the heck I was saying. What's going on, Dingaling? Yeah? Show me my painting? Okay. Hold on, Pookie. I'm working right now. My little dingaling. Where is it? We'll play with Pokemon cards in a little bit, silly. Princess, what are you doing? Hold on, we're going to keep reading the chat here. Is 80K coming? Well, we just hit 80K this morning, right? We just hit 80K this morning, and we are experiencing some, support right now. We are struggling to get back above 84,000. We had a rejection earlier today. If we jump down to the 15-minute, right? You guys can see here. Yeah, mama. You guys can see here, Bitcoin has been struggling to get back above 84. We got a massive rejection like I was looking for in the Crypto Citadel earlier today. I should say last night, I posted that, a rejection from this area coming down to the daily MPLC of 81,000 was likely. And that's exactly how it played out. We came all the way up. We hit the daily MPLC of 84, dropped back down to the daily MPLC of 81,000. And now we're just chopping sideways. So meanwhile, we hold 81,000 to 80,000, right? Meanwhile, 80,000 holds. We have nothing to fear. Now, if we start to lose 80,000, we are definitely going to be dropping below down to 76,000 and potentially lower for Bitcoin in the short term. Ay, ay, ay. Just chaos is breaking out. Can you call Kid Dingaling? What's going on, everybody? Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here. XRP is up. Well, there's a lot of altcoins that are up. Atom is up 16%, right? Atom is up 16% just today. We've got Jupiter up 7.1%. We got Sonic up 9.9%. Algorand is up 9.4%. XRP is up 5.7%. Let's go take a look at XRP here real quick. Go with mommy. Go with mommy, Cookie. Let's go take a look at XRP's chart here. So looking at XRP's chart here right now, XRP once again came down into that green support zone, right? That green support zone has been holding back since December of last year. Now holding this area is very good. XRP is having a nice little bounce here, still below the previous below the monthly March range, right? We're getting smashed between the value area low of the quarter one and the value area low of March for XRP. We do have a target up at 223, which we already tapped. Now re-entering March's range back to the upside, staying above 214, gives us a room to run for the quarter one NPLC at 241 and a weekly NPLC up at 250. We have a good 4 targets to the upside within the month of March range to the upside, but we need to stay above 214 to hold that area to be able to run for those levels. Anthony, thank you. No problem. I appreciate it, man. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to do to give the best data possible for you guys. And if you guys want to join the Crypto Citadel, my private trading community, you guys are more than welcome to do so. Use the promo code Citadel to get 50% off your first month. And if you're not a trader, you're like, well, Crusader, I don't really want to join your trading group because I don't really trade. There's a lot of things that we do there, macro analysis wise, for the long-term holders, right? We have macro charts here with quarterly and monthly updates and weekly updates for targets to be looking for the downside to potentially dollar cost average, targets to the upside for you can potentially maybe take some profits. I just want to present as much data to you as possible so that you can make the best decisions for yourself and your portfolio. Crypto market is still holding, unlike the stock market. Yeah, 100%. The stock market is just straight up plummeting. If there's big news for Trump tariffs from nations, it will not good news for Bitcoin. Right now, there's no big news from any other countries. I know China came out and said that they're going to impose a 34% tariff on the U.S., but realistically, they don't really import anything from the U.S., so that doesn't matter. That honestly doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't. Weekend is not any movement. No, I'm not really expecting any big movement on the weekend, right? Bitcoin is just getting a lot of sideways chop here. Could have some more sideways chop throughout the weekend. Nothing to, I don't like really trading on the weekend. I like to just take those days off, right? Enjoy it with the family and just see what's going on. You think XRP is going to continue up? Emrod, XRP will continue to go up when Bitcoin continues to go up, right? When the Bitcoin dominance begins to drop. Bitcoin dominance right now is at 62.73%. We filled our gold pocket up here of 62.89. We've hit that, right? We've hit that gold pocket. Look at that. Boom. Perfectly right there. Now we're getting a little bit of a rejection off that gold pocket. We need to see it start to drop back down below 62%. Ideally, we want to see Bitcoin dominance really dropping below 60%. That would be fantastic, right? That would be fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. From where we are right now, if we just get a little local gold pocket, right? From this low down here of February 17th to the high that we just currently hit, we have a gold pocket sitting down at 61%, 61.17% to the downside. That would be nice to see Bitcoin's dominance dropping down like that. We want, like I said, we ideally want to see it dropping below 60% here. It's just been holding up very, very strong overall the last couple of weeks. Let's go take a look here at the quarter one dominance. Let's see here, quarter one to the end of March. Right, we're right inside. We came right up to the value area high of the quarter one value area high for the Bitcoin dominance. Hit that, and now we're potentially pulling back down. We have a naked point of control as well down at 61, which lines up with the gold pocket as well. So that would be fantastic move to the downside here for XRP, for the Bitcoin dominance overall, and ideally rotating it down to the value area low of quarter one range, which would take it to the weekly NPOC down here at 59 to 58%, would be fantastic for altcoins overall. Let's keep going here. Let's see. Is buying Bitcoin every day a good strategy? Every day a good strategy? Well, that's dollar cost averaging, right? It's kind of like a savings account. It's kind of like a 401k, right? You're putting Bitcoin, you're buying Bitcoin, whether it's $100, $50, whatever it is, every single day, right? You're buying some, you're buying some, you're buying some, and you're just building up a position that you know you're not going to double up your money tomorrow. You know you're not going to triple your money or anything like that. But if you're thinking of Bitcoin as your 401k, if you're thinking of Bitcoin as your savings, your retirement account, what do you do on your job with your 401k? Every paycheck, you allocate a small percent of that paycheck into that 401k so that when you retire at the age of 65, 63, whatever it is, you can start cashing out of that 401k and have, potentially, hopefully, in most strategies, right, from these expert gurus and stuff like that, for retirement, you'll have $1 million plus, right? And then at some point down the line, before you retire, you can roll your 401k into a Roth IRA, which would be a tax incentive, yada, yada, all this stuff. Same thing with Bitcoin. You're putting into Bitcoin so that one day in the future, maybe when you retire, or maybe when you pass on and you pass it on to your kids, that Bitcoin that you've been buying is worth millions of dollars, right? And you've made tons of gains. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is still up 38% on the year, right? Bitcoin is still up here, right? Bitcoin is up 26% on the year right now, 26% on the year, versus the stock market and everything else is down. Bitcoin is still up, right? Bitcoin is still outperforming gold, right? If we look at gold here, well, gold is actually up 32% this year. So then in the last year, because gold had just had a massive breakout in the last month or so. So it's not outperforming gold right now, but overall it has been outperforming gold in returns overall, right? Because if we just look at the massive bullish run that Bitcoin has had versus gold, Bitcoin has outperformed in returns. So year over year, not great, but overall in the long term, returns, right, from Bitcoin going at 40,000 in 2024 to over 100,000, it definitely outperformed gold. Bitcoin is on trending. Careful, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely, in the danger zone, right? We need to hold these levels and start moving back up. If we don't, Bitcoin is definitely could fall down lower and it could be in trouble. Why is Arrow dumping? Well, let me go take a look at Aerodrome here. Aerodrome. Ooh-wee! Aerodrome is just freaking nose plunging down. So Aerodrome right now is dropping down to 35 cents. Next area of support here is going to be this value area low from the month of March in 2024. So we'll see what happens here. Let me get some updates here for the month of February. So for the month of March, for the quarter one, all the way to the end of March. Get rid of this range. Let me get the month of March over here. March 1st to the 31st. Okay, perfect. So I'm literally filling out this chart here along with you guys. This is a quarter one / monthly NPLC. Let's get the quarterly pivot. The Q1 is up at 81 cents. Monthly is sitting at 53 cents. Oops. So let me just fill out my chart here. And then let's see if we got any weeklies. I'm sure we do. All right. So we have a weekly. At 60 cents. We have another weekly. 49. So right now, there's been a lot of scare and FUD with the tokenomics of Aerodrome, right? And aside from that, that's been the biggest thing that's causing this thing to crash so much right now. Obviously, the market has not been doing great at all. And if there's any type of fear in any kind of crypto, along with the fear overall in the market, like I showed you guys, right? The crypto markets right now are in the fear and greed index is at 25, which is fear, or it's not extreme fear, but it's fear nonetheless. And everybody is pretty much afraid of Aerodrome with its tokenomics now being so great, right? Causing inflation, and pretty much it's been dumping. So we'll see if it can hold support here at 32.6 cents. If it can't, then it could be heading a lot lower. I don't know how much lower it can potentially even go. Obviously, anything's possible, or anything can hit zero. But I do believe at some point Aerodrome is going to have some type of bounce back, right? Because it's been one of the cryptos that's had one of the biggest turnarounds of all. So from its highs, right, from its local highs back in December of $2.33 to where it's at today, it's an 84% drop. So yes, can this go to zero? Absolutely. Anything can go to zero, right? Am I telling you to go buy this right now? No, I'm not. But if I was a betting man, right, and I'm looking for risk versus reward, something that's down 84% definitely looks a little interesting to put a little bit of risk on for me personally, right? Throw a few $100 at it to see if it can run back up to hit some of these targets, right? So right now on the way back up, if it can get back above 46 cents, it re-enters the quarter one range. And we have targets between 49 cents to 60 cents as of right now to the upside, right? To the upside in the local short term, which is already a move from where we are today. The first target to the upside is a 40% move. Our last target here, last local target here of 60 cents is 70% move. Now we start moving higher to the next bundle of targets between 79 to 83. 79 cents is a 123% move, and 83 cents is a 134% move. I do believe Aerodrome is going to come back up. I do believe Aerodrome could potentially retest breaking $1. Now, is it going to retest and break over $2, make some type of new all-time high? That is yet to be seen, right? We'll have to see what happens with the tokenomics FUD. We have to see how much Bitcoin really does rally back to the upside above. Does it flip 100,000? Does it really get the altcoins running? Does the Bitcoin dominance start to drop below 60%? If it does, if we start to see all these things, then Aerodrome could potentially push back up. Now, I'm not expecting Aerodrome to run and fly to $10 plus or anything like that. Realistically, maybe at best, we get back above its all-time high, right, of like $2 and some change. Maybe we make a new all-time high, but just from where we are right now, back to $1 or back to $1.67, $1.64 actually, which is one of my big targets to the upside for Aerodrome right now. From here to there, that is a 368% move. That is fantastic. That is fantastic from where we are right now. So just getting to $1.65, I would be extremely happy. With gold dropping, talking about a recession, global liquidity, I can see total market cap moving up. Yeah, look, the rumors is that we're entering a recession. We're entering a recession. And guess what? When that becomes the mainstream media narrative, then we know that something different is going to happen. What was happening before? Oh, inflation's transitory. Guess what? It wasn't, right? It wasn't. So then we got just recently we got the tariffs are terrible. The tariffs are terrible. They're terrible. They're terrible. Maybe in the short term, and they're going to hyper focus on that. But in the long term, it's short term pain for long term gain. They're going to be a lot better than what people think, right? Same thing right now. Oh, we're entering a recession. That's it. We're entering a recession. Guess what? The Federal Reserve is probably going to come out, start cutting interest rates, start printing money, and avoid a recession. And just when everybody thinks we're about to enter a recession, we're going to get another massive leg up in the market, in the stock market, in the crypto markets, and we're going to rally for another year or so. That's what I'm expecting to happen, because everyone is going in with, we're going into a recession. Everybody's going into the sheep mentality. Waiting for a bread to rebound, hopefully a Coinbase listing. I'm not paying attention to any meme coins, man. I'm not paying attention to any meme coins. Can you do Jupiter? Yeah, I can definitely do Jupiter. Let's go take a look at, guys. If you guys are not already in the Crypto Citadel, definitely join the Crypto Citadel. I do macro analysis there for everybody in there. I do long-term analysis for long-term investors, obviously macro analysis. And if you're a day trader and you want to be looking for day trades, you want to follow it, I do post signals of all the day trades that I take. So you guys are more than welcome to join. And if you are day trading, the group literally pays for itself. Just yesterday, we had a massive win. We had a huge trade. We've had 2 big trades this week, and boom, they've paid the group for the next 2-3 months themselves with what just happened. Let me take out all these targets, because all these targets have been hit. All right, Let's get Jupiter here. Let's get Q4 of 2024 here first. Okay. Let me just delete all these ranges that are no longer relevant. Let's get Q1 of 2025. Boom. Let's get the month of March. Okay. All right. We have a Q1 NPLC. Q1 NPLC for Jupiter at 84 cents. We have a monthly NPLC for the month of March up at 50 cents. Give me a second as I put this chart together. I'm putting it together for you guys live so you guys see what I'm doing. Let's get a quarterly pivot here. We have a quarterly pivot up at 70 cents. Let's get the monthlies. We have the untapped monthly up at 57. Let's see if we have any weeklies that are untapped. I'm sure we do. All right, we have one weekly up at 60. We have another one at 50. That's not much support going on right there, but okay. Let's get a gold pocket here. Yeah, let's get a macro gold pocket from the very tip top. Oh, hold on. From the very tip top to the very low right now. We have a macro gold pocket up at $1.32. So right now, summing it all up for people that are interested in Jupiter, right? The DEX for Solana. Jupiter is currently below the March value area low of 41 cents. We're currently sitting at 39. We need to get back into the monthly range here. Getting back into the monthly range, the targets within the range of March are sitting between 50 cents with as high as 60 cents to the upside, which is a move from where we are to our first targets here. 29% move to the upside of 50 cents and a total of 54% to the upside of 60 cents. Now, if we can break above the March range, right, and re-enter Q1, right, Q1's range takes us up to 70 cents, which is the quarterly pivot and the value area low for Q1. That is a total move of 83% to the upside. If we re-enter the Q1 range, our NPLC is at 83, which is a 115% move to the upside as well. And that's pretty much our last target before running it up to the macro gold pocket of 132. And then we have a weekly pivot up at 150. Now, Jupiter is a DEX on Solana. Solana has had a few different DEXs, right? So let's talk fundamentally about Jupiter right now. My biggest problem with Jupiter fundamentally is the simple fact that Solana has a few different DEXs. It has Radium, it has Jupiter, it has Orca. It might have one more that I'm not thinking about right now. And the biggest thing that had Solana running and had Radium and some of these other DEXs running, mainly Radium, was the simple fact that pump.fun was using Radium, right, to make all the transactions happen along with the Phantom wallet. Now, pump.fun, from my understanding, is moving on over to its own swap, its own DEX kind of scenario. And if that is true, then obviously Radium and Jupiter are going to have less of a utility because, let's be real, the grand majority of Solana is all based off meme coins, meme coin frenzy, meme coin movements. So without that happening, I don't see those massive moves for Jupiter happening anytime soon. Is your Discord worth it even for new people in crypto? Jose, like I said, as of right now, right, people that are day trading, people that are taking my trades, right, you don't have to, I'm posting the analysis, I'm posting the signals, I'm doing the live, I'm doing exclusive live streams inside the Discord, live trading, and I get into trades, I get out of trades, you guys can follow along. That would be a way to pay off the group on its own. On top of that, if you don't have time to do research, you don't have time to do analysis, which most new people don't have or don't know how to, I do post analysis in there on all the altcoins of your choice, macro and short term for you, which is worth money, right? It's worth time. So if you believe that that's going to help you to dollar cost average, is going to help you build up your portfolio to make some decisions on when to dollar cost average more precisely, when to potentially take some profits on targets to the upside, I think it'd be worth it. But, you know, that's always up to you. Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here and smashing those likes. I appreciate everybody jumping in. On a Friday like today, the market is up, down, sideways, just chopping it up. That is exactly why I haven't taken any trades today, because the two best trades of the day for Bitcoin have already played out. The first one being the short here from the daily MPOC of 84,000 down to the daily MPOC of 81,900. Like I mentioned in the Crypto Citadel last night, my private community, I posted, hey, I'm looking for a Bitcoin rejection up at this area and looking for it to come back down to the 81,000. It did exactly that. And then, you know, that I posted giving the group an update that was the best trade of the day. The second best trade was taking a long down at 81 up to the VWAP around 82 to 83. And since then, that's also happened, and we're just been getting sideways chop. So the fact that we're just getting sideways chop, you know, I'm not going to be taking any trades here and risking any capital. So, guys, I appreciate all of you guys jumping in here. Do you think the bull market is interrupted and heading into bear market this year? No, I think we're just having sideways consolidation. I don't think we're heading into a bear market. I think we're going to continue running. But if we lose 80,000, that would change for me. If we lose 80,000, I think bearish for longer. If we keep above 80,000, then I think bullish for longer. That's just the way it is. And then once we get up to 98,000, we have to see if Bitcoin can flip that resistance. If we get rejected anywhere between 89 to 98 and start dropping back down low, we're going to be creating a lower low, a lower high, and that's going to be very bearish for Bitcoin. If we can flip above 100,000 and get above there, then yes, that's going to be very bullish for longer for Bitcoin. Guys, I appreciate everybody in here smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ay, ay, ay.